Today we're working on a MacBook Air A1932. The machine works, but the battery is dead. Gives an angry battery icon, says service recommended. The fans in the machine are running full speed, and if you disconnect the power, the machine shuts off immediately. So the battery clearly is not working. It is also running slow. That is normal behavior for an Apple MacBook. That is Apple's way of punishing you for not replacing the battery yet. I've opened up the machine. It looks nice and clean inside. The battery looks perfectly normal. We will use the Chipmunk Battery Tool to connect to the battery and see what's going on. So we have our Chipmunk Battery Tool and the matching adapter, which has the same connector on it as the motherboard does. So let's hook it up and see what it has to say. The battery plugs into the little adapter board, which has the same connector as the motherboard. When you buy the adapter board, it doesn't come with a connector. You have to solder it yourself. Now we connect it to the battery tool. And the battery tool sees the battery. Now we'll see what the battery tool has to say about the battery. It's seeing it, it knows the serial number, it knows the model, so far so good. Knows the model of Mac it is in, which is also correct. Cycle count 181, so it's a relatively new battery, the capacity is good. 92% health, but permanent fail at the sad face. So there's a permanent fail error, which is our problem here. With the button, you can step through the screens. The battery has 0% charge, so it is very flat. Again, it says permanent fail, so the battery was very unhappy about something and it voluntarily switched itself off. So there's no real hardware failure in the electronics of the battery, but the electronics are working just fine. But the processor in the battery decided that it saw something that it deemed so dangerous that it switched itself off. The reason for the permanent fail is a severe undervoltage. So the cells are so severely discharged that the battery decided to switch itself off. And because it's switched off, you cannot actually charge it. But we need to charge it to solve the problem. The voltage across the battery is 4.2 volts, so it's not even all that low. This happens when these machines lie around for a long time without being used. This one as well. I think it has been sitting for a year in somebody's drawer, and when they pulled it out, it was no longer working. These are the voltages across the individual cells. As you see, it's not very balanced, but because it's an empty battery, this is nothing to worry about. The moment it charges it, it will get balanced. It is saying charge with 0 millivolts with 0 milliamps, so it's basically saying don't charge me, but we will anyway. So to achieve that, we put the battery tool in mode 9, like this, which will reset the permanent fail flag and try to charge it. Actually, nothing is happening, but that's because I forgot to turn the power supply on. Now the power supply is on. Let's see if it does anything better. And for a brief moment, for a brief moment there was a spike in power. The battery tool reset the permanent fill flag a second time. The first time it was reset again. It was turned on because the battery only charged for a little while and then decided it was still too not charged, and it set the permanent fill flag again. But the battery tool undid the permanent fill flag, and after the second time everything is okay, and now it is charging and the permanent fill flag is not coming on. We also see the voltage across the battery shooting up. For waking the battery up, I have the current on the power supply set to 3 amps, which is good for a few seconds in the beginning, but I'll turn that down now because you don't want to charge a flat battery with more than, let's say, 200 milliamps. But for a few seconds, it's okay. Now we're down to 200 milliamps. The voltage in the battery is decreasing even though we're charging with 200 milliamps, so it's leaking a lot of current. This could mean that the battery is bad, or it could mean that the battery still has to recover from being so severely depleted. Already it stopped dropping, so something is improving. The power supply is feeding 200 milliamps, and it is extremely important that you understand that if you would now put this battery back in the Mac would charge it with an enormous current, and in a day or two the battery will be inflated and dead. This time really dead. If your battery is discharged, severely discharged, you can charge it, that's no problem, but you have to be very, very careful. Charge it with a very slow current, let the battery rest a lot. Because having a voltage across the plates in a battery will restore the chemistry on the plates. But before the chemistry is restored, you should not be feeding any huge current through it. Let's see what it has to say on all the other screens. It's still fully discharged. The charge is still 0%, so we're below the point that counts as no charge. Yeah, we have less than no charge. So it will take a little bit of charging to reach 1%. It's not complaining anymore. And as you see, the voltages across the individual cells are a lot closer together now. And it says it's being charged with 200 milliamps, which is a good safe setting. But this is limited by our lab power supply connected on the adapter board. I will let this charge until it reaches, let's say, 10%. And I think I will leave it overnight so the chemistry can do its thing, and then tomorrow we will connect the battery to the Mac and everything should be good. The power supply is set to 12 volts and 200 milliamps. Because the battery would like to draw more than 200 milliamps, the power supply limits the voltage automatically to 10.65 at the moment. The important thing is that no more than 200 milliamps is flowing. Now it's the next morning. I left the MacBook charge overnight at 200 milliamps. Let's see how things are going. The charge has gone up to 37%, so that's good. The batteries are not swollen, so that's good as well. So far so good. Now we'll connect the battery back to the motherboard. After letting the Mac sit and charge for a while, I've closed it back up, and let's try it again. It comes on. Now the fan is no longer spinning like crazy. It is also running noticeably faster now. Let's see what the battery has to say. Everything is looking normal. So this computer that I bought cheap because the battery was not working is now a perfectly good computer. So all I had to do was reset the permanent fill flag using the Chipmunk Battery Tool, and then charging the battery from the lab power supply, again using the adapter for the battery tool. The initial charging had to be done very, very slowly to prevent the battery from killing itself and potentially inflating soon. But now, a few days later, I can say the battery is just fine. It looks normal, it feels normal, it works normal, and everybody is happy. If I unplug the charger, the Mac should stay on, which it does. And if I plug the charger back in, everything is fine. It continues charging. This little red board is a protection board. It has two functions. It shows whether the charger is supplying 5 volts or 20 volts. The LED lights up blue when it is supplying 5 volts, and it lights up green when it is supplying 20 volts. Let's unplug it. Another thing you see is that the charger is not supplying any voltage when it is not plugged into the computer, which is an important criteria for a good charger. And it went off very quickly after I unplugged it. Let me plug it back in. You saw it went blue, but only very briefly. The MacBook and the charger spoke together and it switched to 20 volts almost immediately. I hope you now understand that the Chipmunk Battery Tool is a very useful tool. It enables you to see what's going on with the battery, and with a bit of luck can reset the permanent fail flag and maybe even bring it back to life. Especially in the case of batteries that are dead just because they've been sitting and discharging for a long time. In those cases, it can probably bring it back to life. Thank you for watching. If you enjoy our videos, please subscribe to our channel and visit our website www.cmizapper.com.